Hi, I'm Saeed Nyangi. Welcome to WrestleTalk News on Saturday. And yes, we do hurt people.
Legally speaking, we do not hurt people at WrestleTalk.com.
Thank you, dude. Okay.
Support WrestleTalk!
Get exclusive bonus videos over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
Here's me thinking I was done with CM Punk and AEW drama. For the majority of my time doing the news, all I used to talk about was CM Punk and AEW. I come back to the news, and guess what's on the agenda, guys? More AEW and CM Punk news. Ryan Nemeth, the brother of current TNA World Champion Nick and a former AEW star, filed a complaint against All Elite Wrestling on September the 12th, a file that has been obtained by Fightful Select. The complaint was sent to a number of AEW execs and outlines a timeline of abuse, harassment, threats that he faced while working in AEW. The suit is mostly focused on his issues that he had with CM Punk, which stemmed from a tweet that Nemeth put out. He called Punk literally the softest man alive, which he claims was just in character. However, the complaint is less about Punk himself and more about how AEW handled the issue, even alleging that AEW encouraged him to cut an anti-Punk promo. He claims that on June 21st, 2023, Punk threatened him in an AEW locker room after the tweet and then was not booked for 2 months. He says he contacted AEW in July to ask why the incident with Punk was not followed up on. And Fightful Rights in their recap said he believed he'd be silently fired. Specifically, he believed that his exclusive paid per appearance deal would be allowed to expire. Nemeth claims that he felt that he was being punished but was assured by AEW legal rep Mega Parrick that speaking up wouldn't impact his job. Then, on August 12th, he was booked by AEW but was asked to leave. This was around the time Fightful Select reported that Punk was blocking certain people from coming to AEW shows. Nemeth asked for action to be taken and was booked for the August 16th show and was, as he writes, ordered to verbally antagonize the world champion. Punk was doing his real world champion gimmick at the time. Fightful Right, Nemeth claims that after speaking to AEW Legal and HR that day, there is no appropriate response to anything in the situation. Nemeth was approached by AEW Legal following a brawl-in incident between Jack Perry and CM Punk at All In, but it was less about his issue with Punk and was more about actions moving forward with Punk and AEW, which led to him being fired. He worked once more with AEW on November the 18th, 2023, and Punk returned to WWE 1 week later. Fightful Right, he claims that he believed Khan and AEW hold him responsible for having to fire Punk. Nemeth claims he was offered a settlement deal with AEW, worth up to 3 years of salary, but that no longer became an option for him. He also claims that he spoke with Tony Khan a few months ago, and Khan entertained the idea of Nemeth returning to AEW. Fightful Right, however, Nemeth didn't wish to. Nemeth also claims that Mega Parrick's replacement as AEW Legal, Chris Peck, threatened to sue Nemeth for sending the complaint. He writes that Mega Parrick, the Young Bucks, and John Moxley have been very helpful during this situation. Just before the AEW Dynamite review, we've got to look forward ahead towards WrestleMania. And a few months ago, Dave Meltzer reported that Rock had informed people that he would not be working the show, to which Rock replied that they shouldn't believe him. Well, now, Fightful Select are reporting that there are creative plans being put in motion on the assumption that The Rock will not be working WrestleMania. As Meltzer said in his original report, which Fightful also added in theirs, anything can change with The Rock. For example, Bad Blood. Jean Ross Sapp writes, WWE sources told Fightful that The Rock's Bad Blood appearance was simply to get him on screen and didn't have a major direction or plot point they were furthering. Turns out Rock being at Bad Blood wasn't known about until the week before it happened. Fightful report that Rock and Cody Rhodes filmed something at Moana 2 premiere, but that may or may not end up seeing the light of day. Now, before the Dynamite review and before I throw to the words to our sponsor, which is indeed Surfshark. You like VPN? You could be internationally all over the place, watch any program you want. But anyway, before we get to that, heck, maybe you want to go to Canada. And when you go to Canada, you see a lovely masked man as he starts approaching, is coming closer to you. And he's about to tell you some great programs they have in Canada. Canada?
We hurt people.
We hurt people. We hurt people.
Here's a
word from our sponsor.
And the camera goes. Yes, that's right. Yes, nearly there. Oh, yes. Now I'm feeling it. Yes. Now it's nearly there. Come on. Oh, it's nearly there. Wait. What? No. No. Ah, God damn it. I hate this hacker crap.
Luke, what are you doing in here?
Are
you trying to steal the company's data again?
Maybe?
Well, you know the data's all protected, right?
What? How?
By using Surfshark.
Surfshark?
Yes, Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN that will protect your IP address, stop cyber criminals like Luke here, and allows you to watch content from all over the world. Go to surfshark.com/WrestleTalk for 4 extra months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. Grab this festive offer now by following the link in the description.
Wow, that's great, Tempest. Can you you let me know the password to the back end?
Oh yeah, of course. It's CM Punk did nothing wrong 69420. No spaces.
Yeah. Ollie did make this, didn't he?
What gives you that impression?
Hello, I'm Tempest, and soon I will also be in Canada. This is my review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. We opened the show with a great little highlight package setting up the night C2 matches, which took us right into Shelton Benjamin versus Kyle Fletcher. They traded kicking their feet up on the top rope spots, which means these are the 2 coolest wrestlers in the world this week. The crowd was into this one, chanting Ospreay's better at Kyle, which only helped the match as Shelton took on the role as the babyface. The crowd chanted one more time at Shelton, which encouraged him to hit a 3rd German suplex, a move that felt like an audible and a great bit of call and response right before Fletcher rolled Shelton up and used the ropes to get the pin. Great opening match. Hook came out next to accept Nick Wayne's challenge for a match at the Hammerstein Ballroom. He called out Nick, but got jumped by the Patriarchy instead and ultimately succumbed to the numbers game, getting a concerto to his hand for his trouble. I'm sure... Do not sneeze while I'm breaking it down!
I'm sorry.
I'm sure he'll have to get his hand amputated because of this, and then he'll have to get his hand replaced by something, some sort of curved apparatus. There's got to be a name for it, so we can get one for Hook. Mercedes was asked about Camille and said she never wants to hear that name again. Then MVP got big mad at Shelton Benjamin for losing and not hurting Kyle Fletcher before they all wiped out some stagehands and security. This didn't so much feel like a teased breakup or anything, but more holding one another to a very high standard, a standard that the Hurt Business will continue to live up to in AEW if I had to guess. Then we had the Dynamite Diamond Dozen Battle Royal. Last 2 in the Battle Royal would face off next week at Winter is Coming, and then the winner faces MJF for the ring at World's End. Given what happened last week, I don't think I've ever seen a Battle Royal with a more telegraphed Final 2. Evil Uno was thrown out first after doing Adam Cole's taunt. Evil Uno, baby! Lio Rush and Action Andretti eliminated Top Flight in a shocking betrayal. Davis got dumped by Cage and Archer. Kyle O'Reilly and Rocky Romero teamed up to eliminate Rush and Andretti. And it was at this moment that I remembered that Kyle O'Reilly and Rocky Romero are in a faction together. Rocky was out next, quickly followed by the Butcher, leaving only Cole, O'Reilly, Cage, and Archer, and quickly the big boys were knocked off the apron, giving the Undisputed Lads the combined win. There wasn't a lot of tension here, as even Leroy McGurk could see who was winning, but it was a well laid out battle royal otherwise. Another brilliant Julia Hart vignette aired with the clock ticking down on Jamie Hayter, and then Max Caster was looking for a pep talk backstage, but the Acclaim just wanted to talk him out of his match with Swerve. Bowens told Caster if he's the best wrestler alive, go prove it. Swerve came out to a massive ovation, and then Caster came out solo with one of his raps, met with boos, and then a huge boot from Swerve. This was as close to a squash match as you could get, with Caster still getting offense in. The offense may have been 2 moves, the latter of which Swerve no-sold to then hit 3 straight house calls and get the win. So, yeah. This was a squash match. Thumbs up. Swerve got a standing ovation again as he won, and then hit the Swerve Stomp after the match as well, before telling Bobby Lashley it isn't over between them. This was about as perfect as you could get. Swerve felt every bit as special as he should. He felt like a killer who should not be trifled with, and above all else, he felt like a
superstar. MJF in a bar said that everything that has happened has been Adam Cole's fault. Everything from what happened to Roddy to Moxley getting hold of the world title. I don't know about that last bit, there were a few other steps in there, but as for the rest of it, yeah, I don't really see how Adam is the babyface here. Then we had Pac versus Jay White, and Jay took much of the early goings of this match until Wheeler Yuta took Jay out behind the referee's back. Eventually Jay fought back and hit Pac. Why does his name rhyme with everything, Sat? Why does Pac rhyme with so many things that I write in my review?
At least it's not a hack.
I've missed you.
I've missed you too.
Eventually, Jay fought back and hit the bastard with a DDT, which Pac sold better than I've probably seen any DDT sold ever. The crowd was into it by the end as Pac reversed a Blade Runner into the Brutalizer, and Jay fell into the ropes for the break, only for Yuta to hit the Psycho knee on the floor. Immediately though, Jay hit a Flash Blade Runner for the win. Jay gave Yuta a Blade Runner after the match, and then Jon Moxley jumped Jay and beat him down with the help of Marina Shafir. However, it was then Hangman Page who emerged to square off with Mox, but before they could go toe-to-toe, a hooded figure began choking Moxley out, and it was revealed to be Orange Cassidy. Everyone involved brawled with one another, ending with the Death Riders getting laid out by the non-Death Riders. The Life Riders, if you will. Jay hit a Blade Runner, Orange hit the punch, Hangman hit the buckshot, and Christian looked on from the stage. This was probably the most effective segment involving the world title in a month, and I love how protected the Blade Runner has become as a finish. Jamie Hayter said she would find Julia Hart and beat her, and then we had Chris Jericho doing a faux news station hit, telling people to buy tickets for all the upcoming events, and said he'd reveal his final battle opponent soon. His joke this time was he kept getting the nickname for New York wrong. It did have me genuinely confused for a hot sec. And also, spoilers for anybody that cares about Ring of Honor, but do you know who Chris Jericho's opponent's gonna be at this show?
No.
It's Matt Cardona.
What the f?
A very goofy vignette played, hyping the return of an outlaw, AEW's most wanted, Bandito. Let's go. I love Bandito so much. I cannot wait for him to be back. I wish he could have been back a month earlier to be in the C2 and tear it up. We had Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford, and while the crowd were willing to give it a chance, it was one of the less heated matches on the show. They got their wires crossed a bunch of times on Irish whip reversals, but things came together a bit better for the finish as Penelope Ford missed a moonsault, but managed to get the Muda lock in until Anna got the ropes and hit the gory bomb for the win. While basking in her victory, Anna called out Mercedes, who told her if Anna wanted a title shot, she should wait 10 years until she'd actually done something in this business, at which point Anna slapped her and Mercedes left. They'll have their match in 2 weeks, and I'm sure it'll be a very good TV title match. Renee tried to do a sit-down interview with Mariah May, who said she was happy to give Mina a title shot because shaking your tits only gets you so far, Sat.
Hey!
They're great though. Look at them go. Aww. One at a time, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Both. Mina snuck up behind Mariah and handed her a bottle and told her to do it to her face. Then it was main event time as Brody King took on Claudio Castagnoli in a proper hoss fight. Claudio proved to be probably the only man in the world to hit Brody with a pop-up uppercut, and if he's not, then all others kindly form a line so we can finally have the Meat Madness match we were once promised. Brody went crashing into the dasher board and sent into the crowd, only to make it back in the ring, have his eyes raked, his dick kicked, and his comeback neutralized as Claudio secured the win. This is probably the most consistent push Claudio has gotten on AEW TV, not including ROH, and he seems to be the one to beat in the gold block. He'll face Will Ospreay next week in the most consequential match of the tournament thus far. Overall, this was the hottest crowd AEW has had for a TV episode in at least a month, probably more. They were just into everything all night long and helped make all the matches and angles feel important and impactful. This was a very solid episode of Dynamite, but my only other takeaway is when you consider who is getting the biggest reactions on this show, Swerve and Hangman should be the undisputed top of the card. I'm sure they'll get back to it at some point, but right now, they are both simply undeniable. This episode of Dynamite gets a 4 out of 5. That just about wraps it up for me, but before I go, make sure you click the lovely link on screen to see the latest episode of Video Game Club, where our stars try and beat one another with bows and arrows in Tower Fall.